everybody. I'm Tim Stainrod. Welcome to another episode of Sports and Culture. Today is June 25th. So, get started and introduce everybody. Of course, we got Kadeem joining us again. What's good, Dean?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing today?
What'd you say, boy?
So, how you guys doing today? I'm good. Everything is, regular.
Good.
Coronavirus is starting to die down a little bit, even though it's not. But we're here.
We're here. Also, we got Mr. Jared Williams. What's good, Jared?
Yo, what's good, my guy? Just chilling, trying to make it through. Worked out today, feeling good, feeling vibrant. Just trying to get over this corona. It's corona killing me, man.
Feel you.
Let's make do what it do, man. You gotta find ways to be productive. And you say you've been working out with cinder blocks, right?
That's right, cinder blocks, man. You got to get it how you get it, man.
I feel you. And joining us today, our special guest for the evening, we have Mr. Cal Griffin. How you doing, sir?
Yes, sir. What's going on? Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out and chopping it up with me real quick.
Of course, man.
No
Of course.
doubt.
We not gonna get too much into Cal just yet, man. We're gonna allow him to speak for himself, but we got a lot of juicy topics to talk about tonight. But first, just go over a couple of the topics we will be talking about. We're going to talk about perspective from behind the lens. He's a photographer as well, so we're going to talk about what that's like and how he views things from that angle of sports. And topic. We're also going to talk about one and dones. People also going over to the Euro leagues, how that's changed and how that's growing. We're also going to talk about some inner city legends. Just some local shout-outs that he can name. Anybody that's made a career out of street balling, so people like that. And we're also going to just talk about the difference between college and NBA. And where do you see the gap thinning, or where do you see the gap widening? So, those are a couple of the topics we're going to talk about today. But of course, we're going to allow Mr. Cal to break it all down for us. So we'll be right back in a minute. And see you in a bit.
I'm recording them at my new crib, 55 Cedar Street. Fuck, I don't know why I gave out my information like that. When I'm about to give shit, about to run up on my crib and shit. Fuck, hey yo, got this hat from my one and only. Ballin', call me Kobe.
Welcome back. So before we get started today, we're gonna need you guys to do us a favor and give us a follow on IG. So follow us at @LightUp_Productions. Again, @LightUp_Productions on Instagram. And then for Twitter, give us a follow at LightUpProd. So LightUp PROD Prod at Twitter. So give us a follow on Twitter. And then also you can definitely give our YouTube a subscribe. Subscribe to us at Light Up Productions on YouTube. And also for more episodes of our other show, Mike on Fire, which is audio only, you can catch full episodes of that on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Excuse me, I'm still trying to figure out how. It's crazy though, man. To even say all these things, I'm so proud to even say we got platforms on all those things, bro. Like,
That's a fact.
It's a good feeling to have all those platforms and all those different things to the point where I forget. You know what I mean? But anyway, man, moving on. Cal, real quick, man, give us a quick, like, for anybody who does not know you, what should they know?
All things hoops.
Yeah, all things hoops, man. That's my baby. Pretty much, maybe I'm gonna say about 4 years ago, I really started getting serious with this. With writing. I've always been a fairly decent writer, but me being in finance, it was like kind of a mundane situation. So I started this basketball blog, and it really started taking off. So, with that said, kind of jumped in, started taking a bunch of, like photos and it just been just been kind of taking off. It really kind of create like established his like legs of his own, and it been good so far, so good, man. So I've been really covering a lot of basketball, from youth basketball onto NBA stuff, and from all aspects, I'm trying to capture everything that involves with the basketball culture. So just trying to bring it all together.
You're a photographer, and your brand is all things hoops, right? Just for clarity purposes.
Right. Well, I'm a photographer. I'm a videographer. I'm a writer. First and foremost, I'm a writer. So, but I purchased the camera, started learning how to use the actual camera, and here I am, a photographer. So, I had the opportunity to be in some really high profile places, and so with a pretty decent camera, and the rest is history, so to speak. But yeah, I would call myself a photographer, and first and foremost a writer.
Nice,
Okay,
nice.
so you would say that you're really just all things media. You kind of all things hands on deck kind of things. Just you're just
Right,
fully entrenched in the basketball culture from every aspect possible.
right, absolutely. So I like to say, we all things hoops, not some things hoops. You know what I'm saying? So um, every aspect of basketball culture, I'd like to kind of tackle in my own way.
Mhm.
Um, you know, this it's kind of like an endless oasis of basketball if you kind of go back into history, and because even during the pandemic, a lot of people are like, how do you keep going? There's no basketball going on, but
Mhm.
with my particular platform, it's not so much, it's basketball culture. So it's stuff that's going on now. It's stuff that's happened 20
In the
years
past.
ago. It's
Mhm.
stuff that happened, you know, 25, 30 years ago. All aspects of basketball I like to capture. So, with that said, just kind of just kind of keep it moving, and kind of bring in every aspect of basketball that I can.
Okay, so I actually
Cool.
have a follow up to that. You mentioned basketball, it being everything from now or to the past. So speaking of the past, when would you say you found your passion or true love for the game that you knew, all right, this is something I want to be entrenched in going forward with my life? Like I'm sure
Uh,
you knew probably fairly early.
to be honest with you, man, it wasn't. I mean, I've always been a basketball head. From
Hmm.
playing ball, on local teams, to graduating to like AAU teams in New York City,
Hmm.
and traveling with those teams, and stuff like that, to going to the prep school route. I went to a prep school in Connecticut,
Okay.
primarily to play ball, and that's kind of where it stopped. I had a few scholarships on the table that I did not take advantage of at that time.
Hmm.
But I say that to say that during my high school years, I kind of lost the love of basketball for a long time, and
Hmm.
for that duration, I was really, I was still going to basketball games. I really was entrenched with the street ball basketball culture, really.
Okay.
During the summer times and stuff like that, going to every game, going to the Rucker Park, going to Dykeman, these other tournaments in New York City, and with that love kind of started to come back for me, and not so much playing, but now I'm looking at it from a different angle, and I'm looking at it objectively, and starting to put my observations on paper, or typing them out, if you will. And one day I came home from work, and I was agitated. Coming home from a mundane kind of situation, and my wife, she told me at that time that you should really look into maybe doing some kind of blog or something like that. You love basketball, and you write pretty well, so you might as well try your hand with a blog or something like that. And I tried it out in conjunction with Instagram, and started getting a good reaction from the people, from the basketball community. Again, it just started kind of taking off from there.
Wow. That's dope. That's dope. I actually, let me ask you a question. You said it's the street ball that kind of started giving you that passion for it, and you like the way it was, just the energy behind it, and the games being played. Because the reason why I'm asking is that because there's a lot of people that I know who aren't even players, but they just like watching the game because of the art of the game. The way it looks, just the fundamentals, the details,
Energy it provides too.
the
Right.
energy. And I feel like sometimes some moments in the NBA that can be lost, but you being around just straight passion, Cash will just have like just a love for the game. Because that's, if you're in street ball, that's what it is. You taking fouls, you taking
Right. Right.
charges and stuff. You know what I mean? But like it's I guess it's a two-part thing. Like, it was that what did it for you, like just the energy, and then also, well, I'll start with that one. But that was
No,
that one.
no, absolutely, man. It was definitely 110% the energy. If you go, if you ever at Dyckman Park or at Lincoln Park in Queens, or Rucker Park during its heyday, or Kingdom in Harlem during its heyday, the energy is unmatched, and it's different for me because I started looking at the game a little bit differently than I used to. Before it was like, all right, I'm watching, what players are doing their thing. Um, but now it's different. I just kind of take in the atmosphere now. I'm looking at, from what sneakers the players are wearing to, to the food vendors and the atmosphere, the people yelling, and just the culture of it all. Just trying to soak everything in with respect to street ball. Just kind of, just like, when a guy does a move on another guy, and how that makes the crowd feel, and how does that just kind of bring up the energy of the park, and I've always had that in terms of looking at the game objectively now. But now it's a little bit different when you're trying to capture content. You're trying to, um, kind of know what you're going to write about, and you're taking video and or pictures. So it's a little bit hard to enjoy the game like I used to, but it's fun nonetheless.
That's literally what I was asking for the second part of that, because I was saying too, there's people who haven't played. Like, you have people like not to throw any ESPN things out there, but you have people like David Aldridge. I don't know if David Aldridge played, or Brian Windhorst, or any of these people,
Right,
but
right,
basketball minds still. And it's like, as a person like who's capturing it from that unique angle, like, is do you kind of find yourself looking at it from almost like a smarter angle? I don't know if I'm even asking the right question, but
I know
there's
what you mean.
there's a
Like,
there's
is
there's an art to the game that you just pick up if you're not, like, you know what I mean? Like, and you don't have to play to have this. It's just, there's a,
Right,
even the footwork, just certain
right, right.
the details that you're capturing because you're actually trying to capture the game.
that's
You
what
know
I'm
what I'm
trying.
saying?
I think that for everybody that's there watching the game, I really believe that everybody has a different objective of the game, right? So, like me being just a media person, right? Me being a journalist, I capture the game a little bit differently than a photographer sitting courtside
Hmm.
capturing a game, or a reporter who is like a beat writer or a fan. Because I mean, because we're all fans at the end of the day of basketball. So there's been some times where I've been sitting courtside in Madison Square Garden with taking pictures, and I can't enjoy the game like I did if I was a regular just a regular fan,
Hmm.
um, because you're so caught up on maybe capturing the
Best pitch posture. Yep.
best photo possible, the best moment. You're looking at every single detail of the game, from the coaches, from you may capture, being a photographer, you want to make sure that you're just very observant and you're looking around at, you want to capture emotion. So, that comes from capturing, the coaches, the players, even the mascots. You may
Hmm.
capture a mascot doing something that turns out to be a great picture. Um, but I say that to say that every single person that has a role to play, with respect to journalism, I believe see it very differently. And even for myself, when I wear different hats, sometimes I'm a photographer, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I go just to write a story about the game, and I'll use another photographer's pictures for the article. But again, everybody sees the game just a little bit differently, I think.
Ooh, okay. So,
Um, go ahead, Jimmy Fu.
yeah. So speaking of seeing the game differently, I'm sure you've been to a bunch of events. So get into a little lighter conversation just on some of the talent or some of the errors that you've been able to witness live, or some of the events in history that you've been able to go to, and some of the
Uh,
players that you've seen.
uh,
So
I
because I
mean,
know because New York has a whole bunch. You have your Stephon Marbury area, Sebastian Telfairs. There's a bunch of New York guys that end up getting to the league that I feel like everybody in New York kind of has their stories about.
hey, the stories are endless, man.
Mhm.
From guys. I mean, even from seeing guys like Stephon Marbury. I actually caught up with Stephon at Dykeman. He came back.
Mhm.
He actually brought a team from China to
Oh
to
wow.
play versus the kids here, and that was pretty dope. Um, you know, just going to the Iverson Classic,
Mhm.
out near Philly. Just kind of being around him and seeing, just seeing how he is as a person. Um, it's just incredible, to the point where these guys are some of the guys that I grew up on. I grew up watching these guys, and now I'm kind of like face to face with these guys at some point. I've been I've at a few different events with like Steven Jackson. He's a great dude. Who else? Oh, um, I got a little bit of a story for you.
Let's hear
Uh,
it.
all right, so at the Iverson Classic, Baron Davis. You guys, I don't know how old you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
are,
yeah.
but
B
uh,
B Diddy.
B Diddy. All right, so that's my guy. Shout out to B Diddy. So Baron Davis, I met him at the Iverson Classic, and at that time it was just a kind of a real quick, hey Baron, I'm a huge fan. I have this platform. Can you check me out? And at the end of that kind of spiel, I said, hey, can I snap a selfie with you or something like that? And there was no problem. snapped a selfie. It was all good. Now, a few friends of mine that I work with as well, they mentioned to me, hey, have you ever tried to write on Baron Davis's platform? He has a platform called Slick, style, lifestyle, and culture. So it's a website. It's a sports website. It's pretty much like the ESPNs and your all things hoops and everything else. But it it just has a tremendous amount of information. Anyway, I looked it up. I looked it up and kind of just held it in my back pocket so that the next time I see Baron, I can speak about that. And so when I saw him, I asked him, hey, do you guys have any openings for writers or whatever? So he said, yeah, send me a message, DM me, whatever. So I DM him that like right away. I didn't get a response back. I'm like, it happens. You reach out to people, if they don't respond, whatever. Whatever the case may be, we're gonna keep it going anyway. So fast forward, maybe about a year and a half now. I'm at a Dykeman game and I'm doing photography, my own photography at Dykeman. And they let me kind of wander around the court. I have a credential, so I'm able to kind of move around the court as I please. And here comes Baron Davis, into the park. I hear the announcer, Cha-ching. He's like, oh, Baron Davis is in the building or something to that effect. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm kind of surveying the area. I see Baron. He's with are you guys familiar with Murder Inc? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the Irv Gotti, his brother's name is Chris Gotti. And they have they're always at Dykeman promoting their thing, their Adventures Music Group. And at this time, Baron and him are together. And I used to work for Murder Inc. back in the days, back in my like high school, not college days. Right after college, I used to work with them. And I told Chris, I said Chris Gotti, he was standing with Baron Davis, and I was like, "Yo, Chris, what's going on? Let me ask you a quick question. Do you know what Slick is?" Right? And this is Baron Davis's company, right? And he's
Yes.
like, nah, what's that? And I'm like, hold that thought right there. I saw one of my boys in the crowd, maybe about 8 rows back, in a sea of the audience. And I said, yo, do you know what Slick is? And he's like, nah, what's that? I don't know what that is. Like, he's like, what? Slick? Nah, I don't know what that is. So then I focused my attention to Baron. I said, Baron, nobody knows what the hell Slick is. Like, you want me to keep going? I could ask the whole park. Nobody knows what Slick is. I'm your guy, man. I'm your guy. I could
It's
bring
fine.
awareness to your not only to your brand. You know what I'm saying? I write. I do video. I take pictures. I do it all, Baron. What's up? And he's like, yo, that's what's up, man. Send me a message real quick. I said, Baron. Baron, I did that when I met you at the Iverson Classic.
Hey.
I did that already. Baron, what's up? I'm right here in front of you. Baron, let's do it. Like, if we're gonna do it, let's do it. And
Right.
Baron looked at me. He's like, all right, yo, like, yo, I like your style, man. I kind of backed him into a corner. I said, Baron, man, he was like, yo, DM me, man, DM me. And I was like, yo, that don't work, man. You never responded to me in my first DM, man. So I was like, yeah. He was like, matter of fact, he handed me his phone. He said, put your number in. My phone, maybe in the next hour or so, I started getting I was part of a group text with some cat from LA, that he worked with, and they kind of brought me on board. I started writing for Baron Davis's platform, and kind of fast forward. fast forward maybe 8 months or so, I found myself at the NBA All Star game at the NBA All Star weekend rather, and Baron Davis and his team actually gave me a chance to take pictures and take photos for their event. That was a top notch, like one of the best events at All Star Weekend. Adam Silver was there, Isaiah Thomas was there. You know, just like Meta World Peace was there, just like all types of Al Harrington was there, just like all types of NBA guys were there, and Barron and his team kind of just like welcomed me in with open arms. And you know, to this day, some of the guys, me and them still chop it up and still are cordial and stuff like that. And they tell me all the time that you know the next time that they have something, you know, I'm definitely on that list to be invited. So you know, I say that to say, man, you never know, you know, just kind of never know when you're gonna need that information to pull out of your back pocket.
Facts.
You know, whether it be that elevator pitch about your business or whatever the case may be, just make sure that you are prepared to, you know, when that time when it's go time, and that person that you need to speak to is in front of your face, you need to be ready to, you know, be ready to say something and say something with purpose. So, yeah, I hope I didn't take up too much time with that story, but that
No,
was a
that's a
dope.
great story.
That
That's a great story.
listen, man. Go ahead, Dean. But that was beautiful.
Yeah, that's a great story, honestly. Um,
You got to put them into a corner.
You got to push them into a corner, bro.
Yeah, like yo,
yeah.
I'm right here. Like ain't no getting rid of me. To get rid of me, you're gonna have to tell me no. Long time. Even when I started this thing, one thing that I kind of pride myself on is me being fearless. Right.
Mhm.
Sometimes you're gonna have to test the waters, and you know, I was telling you guys another. I have so many stories, man. It's just crazy, man. Um, but yeah, man. I got a lot of stories, man. I don't want to tell them all at one time, but we could space it out if you like.
Nah, I'm
Cool,
down for.
cool.
Is this like another way of how you got into something? Like
Yeah,
into a
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
what's up?
all right, so I found myself in Madison Square Garden, you know, doing a lot of college events. And my first college event was with the Big Ten. The Big Ten at the time, I think it was. I went to see I think Rutgers was playing Minnesota, and it was my first game, and I went on. I was a little bit, you know, kind of little starstruck. I mean, not really starstruck, but like just at the whole situation. Like, yo, I'm here. I'm actually on the court right now. I can't believe I'm on Madison Square Garden. I'm on the
Hmm.
court, you know, and I think I had like a cell phone at the time, right? And so I'm actually, you know, I'm on the court. I'm doing Instagram live. You know, what I'm saying I got, I'm taking Insta stories. I'm asking. I'm probably asking players for selfies while they're trying to do layups and all types of craziness, right? So one of the security guards, they see me, you know, they see me moving around, and he was like, "Come here for a second." Um, he's like, "Yo, let me see your credentials." He's like, "You supposed to be up top, man. Like you all on the court and stuff like that. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you making me work right now." And so I'm like, "Yo, my bad." You know, then I had to go up top to the media section, right? So the next day, because it was a tournament. So now the following day, I show up. You know, I do for the first maybe 5 minutes or so. I'm doing my Instagram. I'm on live, whatever the case may be. But
Hmm.
then out of like sheer like kind of boredom, like not really knowing what to do next, I had a seat, right? I took a seat, and that same security guard, he caught eyes with me, and he was like, he nodded, right? He gave me the nod, like, right, and I didn't know what that meant at the time, but when he saw me, he was like, "Yo, you see how you did your thing 5 minutes, and now you're sitting down. You know what I'm saying? You're seated and you're not bothering anybody. You're not making me work because my boss is probably looking at the other day. My boss is probably looking at me like, how long is this guy gonna let? How long is my guy gonna let this guy roam around and you know what I'm saying? All types of stuff on the court. How long is this gonna last? So
Mhm.
he's like, yo, you're making me work. You know what I'm saying? You having a seat, now I know where you are. You're out of the way. You're cool. So now I say that to say that from that day on, as long as I could get to the court, I'm good. I'm Gucci. Like that same security guard, he see me, he give me the nod. He give me the nod. Sometimes he give me that that he can't do it because they on a higher level of scrutiny with the security and stuff like that. But for the
Mhm.
most part, he's like yo, you're good right there. Sit right there. You're good. Don't
Mhm.
worry about it. So I've had the opportunity to be like literally standing next to guys with the TV cameras and me having a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Just capturing whatever I could courtside at the Duke game or at the Villanova Big East championships and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
that was kind of crazy that I established that kind of rapport with that security guard and that he let me kind of rock with kind of sitting where I want to sit. So I say that to
Okay.
say that's a crazy situation. Just you never know, who's watching you. And just be friendly, talk to everybody, and you never know what kind of perks you can get from being friendly to people.
Facts.
Mhm. Okay.
Um,
So speaking of, you said that it was a Big Ten tournament where you first kind of got this exposure in doing
Right.
that. Let's just talk about college basketball in general for a minute because I know there's a lot of people who love basketball, but it will be more so NBA, and they don't really have the same exact passion for college because sometimes a lot of people have a college that they're connected to in some way, like family members went to that college, or it's the college in their state, or they themselves are alma mater from that college. Just what are your thoughts on just college basketball, where everything kind of stands right now, with like potential one and dones and just the way that transition is working right now?
Well, in my personal opinion, college basketball. Well, first of all, I love college basketball just because
Hmm.
I think that it's fast paced, and it's kind of it's like that intermediary between your professional ranks and your high school basketball. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot. It's really fast paced. They have they still have some great coaches out there who are really teaching the game. Guys like Coach K. So many coaches out there. Bob Huggins and this a ton of coaches who are still out there doing their thing. And with respect to the one and done thing, I really think that college basketball, for lack of better words, is a little bit they're in trouble a little bit because
Hmm.
now you have the NBA G League that kind of came up and is actually paying these kids now.
Yeah.
There's some high schoolers, Jalen Green, from the West Coast who actually is getting, just signed or set to sign like a $500,000 contract to play with the G League. And so this puts it's a direct in direct competition with the NCAA because if you're a high schooler and you're an elite high school guy, why not go to the G League, which is going to be playing against grown men,
Mm-hmm.
and better competition, as opposed to playing at college in the college at the college game where you're not getting paid. You're bringing in all of the attention, and you're bringing in ticket sales for the actual school, but you're not getting actually paid.
Yeah.
So you can't get paid off your likeness. You can't get paid off of any of that stuff. So I think that the college game is a little bit in trouble with respect to talent, picking other options, such as the G League, and I really think that going overseas, like you guys seen it with Lamelo Ball, who's potentially going to be one of the top three picks in the draft this year. He went overseas, and he kind of took that route. So I really think that that route is going to expand. And there's going to
Hmm.
be a lot more kids out there picking to get compensated, rather than going to college where they can't be compensated.
Yeah.
Um, interject actually too. What do you or how do you feel about HBCUs also? Because I know Mikey Williams, believe Mikey's a freshman or sophomore. I think he's a
Yeah,
freshman.
yeah, I think. Well, yeah, I think he's a rising sophomore, if I'm not mistaken.
That man
Yeah.
is only a sophomore.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's tough. He's
Nah, come on,
super
son,
tough.
stop. Yo, he's tough, yo.
Yeah,
He's
super
tough.
tough, super tough. But in terms of HBCUs, man, I love them. I went to a HBCU myself. I went to Hampton University,
Okay.
in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated 4 year, 4 year degree from Hampton. So, with respect to college basketball, HBCUs, I love it. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Dope,
dope.
dope, dope, dope.
Yeah, I definitely could see from my perspective, if Mikey were to go, that's just gonna open up the floodgates, I
Oh
think.
yeah, yeah,
He is that caliber of a player.
All it takes is the one right guy to
Hmm.
right,
go, and then they create that little spark,
right,
or it's just trickle down effect of interest, because they're like, okay, if he's here, I'm not too good to be here. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right. I mean,
And that's all you have to do is break that stigma.
I really think that's important, man. You know, if we wanna bring it, bring it there, man. We gotta make sure that we're representing our own, what I'm saying, our own schools. We're bringing, it's a whole systematic issue with respect to college athletes. Especially black college athletes going to the predominant, Caucasian schools, and generating a ton of money to their schools, but meanwhile, our black schools are suffering. And I think, like you said, Dean, if that one person kind of opens the floodgates, I think that that more talent would essentially go, and we can start building it up, because I mean we got to build it up from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Def- definitely got to build it up, and it's bringing exposure, it's bringing views, it's bringing money. I
Right.
mean, it's nothing but positives going forward. And the thing when I say with Mikey is that he can be the one, because even Zion, like Zion was balling, but his real like he started getting real popular around his end of sophomore, early junior year. This dude Mikey been popular since damn near
For a
eighth,
while.
Yeah. I
For
think
a
he got
while.
like 2 million.
and his popularity is only increasing. So at this current level, when Zion was there, Mikey's more popular. To be honest, and I'm telling you, the only reason why Bronny is still even on this man's level as far as notoriety is because of his name.
Right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
Mikey is that. I mean, right now, like you also have people like DJ Wagner, who's also another prospect who's nice.
Yeah,
I,
he's serious.
I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as just uh, uh, star power, Nike right now is probably one of the most I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
mean,
have a question.
go ahead.
I have to like because you've seen from I guess when you were at Rucker and everything till now, who is the greatest prospect that you've seen going into college?
Um, like a live game.
Yeah,
Um,
like you actually taking pictures of them.
oh, like all right. So I actually saw. Um, hmm, there was a lot of guys that were going into college that are now like I got a few.
No, give
So
us you. I'll take few. Give me
all
a
right,
few.
yeah, yeah. So Hamadou Diallo was one of
Oh,
these guys
tough,
who was just
tough.
like super tough. He's from Queens.
Mm-hmm.
But that summer leading into his freshman year at Kentucky, he just went absolutely crazy on the New York City basketball circuit. Just he just went crazy, and that's that. I got to say that he's probably one of the top guys I've seen. He plays with the OKC Thunder now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm expecting a breakout season this year. But what'd you say?
Won the dunk contest too.
Right, right, absolutely. I also had the opportunity to see R.J. Barrett um,
Ooh,
Tough.
live in the flesh, man, in high school. Um, and he was super tough, man. He was just like a machine out there. Like he was just so like his work ethic was right,
Yeah,
right,
Mount Verde. Mount Verde has had a lot of talent recently.
right, right,
Ben Simmons, D'Angelo Russell,
right, right.
you name it.
But there was one guy also that's not on people's radar right now. Well, he may be on a lot of people's radar because he went to Mount Bird too. Um, Scotty. Oh, what? Scotty. Geez, hold on. FSU commit, man. Why am I getting a blank right now? Scotty Barnes. I'm bugging. I'm bugging out. Scotty
Scotty
Barnes.
Barnes. Okay.
Check for Scotty Barnes, man. His sophomore year, he played with a school in Florida, and he played with Vernon Carey in high
Mm,
school that went to Duke,
okay.
and this kid, he was a sophomore at the time versus R.J. Barrett. R.J. had like maybe like 25 that game. This kid was a sophomore, Scotty Barnes. He had 24 and like 12 rebounds, and he was just a killer, man. Like as a sophomore, and at the press conference, R.J. Barrett was like, "This guy's next. Like he's next." So Scotty Barnes is definitely a name that I like to say was one of those top guys too. That he'll probably be in the draft this year.
Okay. Actually,
Yeah.
I have a question real quick because I'm a Knicks fan, and we talking about we talked about some New York players.
Yeah.
You mentioned it, Hamidou Diallo. Um, let's say the Knicks don't get their way and end up. I know we kind of like LaMelo Ball right now. What are your thoughts on Cole Anthony? Because he's a local cat.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, Cole. Hey, Cole was I've seen Cole since he was in high school as well at Archbishop Malloy.
Mm-hmm.
He ran. He kind of he ran with the PSA Cardinals. Along with a bunch of other guys that from the city. Cole Anthony is tough, man, and I was late. I was late to the Cole Anthony party, but in terms of saying like, yo, he's it. But when he was, I think at the Iverson Classic, actually, he didn't get to play. But leading up to that, I was just hooked, man. He's a tough competitor. He can pretty much he can do it all. He doesn't He's a dog, man, and he's a quiet dog though. Like
Yeah.
he's not like a Westbrook. Westbrook I consider like a loud
Loud.
Rottweiler type of, loud bark and a
Kind
lot.
of Dame-ish. Dame is kind of a quiet dog.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly. So I say Cole Anthony is one of those guys that has high skill and can perform at a high level. And the simple fact that he could jump out the gym and
Yeah.
people really don't expect that from somebody his size. It just separates him from his peers.
And the thing is too, right? We had said before that we were going to talk about one and dones, right?
Right.
But on Cole Anthony, this is actually like the perfect opportunity. He was balling back at Oak Hill and everything, and his high school career, he had a really good senior year. But then when he went to North Carolina, he dipped off just a little bit. Some may say a lot, actually. And he had his struggles, but it's not just some of those struggles weren't really equated to him. It was some of the teammates he had. There were a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of shots that were missed.
They were really hurt. They were really hurt this year too. He was banged up a lot.
Yeah, he was banged up.
Back. Did have a lot of injuries on the team as well. So with all that being said, with the one and done rule, do you think, first of all, before we even touch on Cole, how do you feel about that? Do you like that? Do you feel like it's do you think we should?
One and done?
Mm-hmm. And then after that, you could talk about Cole.
No, I'm with the one and done, man. If you're good enough to make it to the NBA, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not live your dream and go to the NBA? If your goal is to say, listen, I want to be a professional basketball player. That's my goal. Whether or not it's you're after your first year or after your fourth year. I say as soon as you feel that that you are physically capable of competing at that level, and that it's going to be suitable for you,
Mm-hmm.
and that you feel like you're ready. Like, why not? Just you could test the waters and say, hey, I'm not going to hire an agent, but if you're gonna go first round, if they tell you, yo, you're gonna be a second round at best pick, and that's good enough for you, and you're saying you're content with that, and you're gonna say that you're gonna work hard to earn whatever salary you think you're capable of getting, by all means, man, go ahead and live your dream. So one and done are, I don't find anything wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I do kind of find a little weird, not weird, but it's a little troubling, is the fact that people, these kids that are not ready for that next level, and they're just going one and done, and they're going to these kind of microwave schools where they're, hey, I'm 7 foot tall, so I already know that I'm going to the league, and I'm only going for 1 year. So I think that if a player really doesn't weigh their options and kind of develop their skills, and they feel that they're ready physically,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they should do it. But who am I to keep a man away from his ultimate goal, and from being able to feed his family the way he wants to? Live your dream, man. If I could go one and done, I'd do it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Cole Anthony should do it then? Like with
Absolutely,
okay. And you think
absolutely. Cole is a monster, bro. Cole is a monster, man, and Cole
He
Anthony.
definitely has a first round grade on him. Man. He's definitely getting drafted in the first round without question.
I
I
think he would be the top. He's gonna be one of the top, maybe.
3 or 4 point guards taken.
Yeah, right. I think he'd be the top. Any team that let him go past 5 is probably gonna be crazy.
Yeah, because you have, I know a lot of dudes have LaMelo ranked as the number one guard, and then there's this guy from overseas as well,
Bro.
named like David Abarja, something like that, is ranked at like number two guard right now. And then you have Cole Anthony's and your the Halliburtons and all those dudes. But speaking of the one and dones, I'm gonna spin it a little differently. Um, what are what are some of the greatest single college seasons that you've seen? Because you've had some impressive ones in the past, like Melo winning the chip in his rookie, his freshman year. You have some like Steph Curry season he had,
Whoa.
Do
Zion
not
last year.
do not forget about Kemba Walker. We forget about
Yeah,
Kemba.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna be
Kemba
tight.
Walker's run was tough.
Tight.
Kemba's tough.
We can't be
Kemba's
too
tough.
about Kemba, bro. That
No,
Yeah,
that is
Kemba's tough.
y'all taking all
I
my
can't believe we ain't
answers.
getting to Kemba. Kemba's tough.
Y'all taking all my answers, man.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, you got, like you said, Steph Curry. You got the Carmelo, probably number one. But after that,
Very slept on.
you got the Kevin Durant.
Hmm.
He had a tremendous season, tremendous 1 year at Texas. You got guys like I'm gonna even say guys like what's his name? Man, he went to Duke.
recently or earlier.
He went to Duke a couple years ago. He plays with Sacramento now. Um,
Harry Harry Giles or not
no,
Harry
no.
Giles. Uh, Afro dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, Bagley.
Yeah. Bagley. I had
Bagley.
the opportunity to see him up close and personal too, and he had a tremendous season. One and done.
Hmm.
Him wasn't able to kind of like translate to the pro game just yet. I think that his game will come around a little bit, but it's a toss up, man. Like Kemba Walker, like you said, he had probably, I would say, Kemba Walker next to Carmelo Anthony. Kemba Walker had one of the best.
That run was
That
crazy.
that run was
Yo,
ridiculous.
I can actually say I was at that game when he hit the boy with that step
Oh
back,
man,
and my man fell and he hit that. Yo,
wait, wait,
yo,
wait, wait. You were at that Pittsburgh game
that's tough.
yeah. I was at that game.
when he hit that
Yeah,
lethal
That's
step
tough.
back.
yeah, that step back where he left that man on the floor with the dreadlocks. Yo, it went sick in the garden.
That's tough.
Sick.
That's a very tough shot that he hit.
No,
Honestly,
shout out to
yeah,
Kemba.
You can't recover from that, bro. I'm sorry. Like
nah.
that guy that used to play for Pitt. I forgot his name, but I used to see him all the time. Like he was a top player for Pitt at the time. I ain't seen him since.
Yeah. He probably overseas doing his thing though.
Yeah.
I
Damn. Speaking of, I had something that I was thinking of. Um.
You got also Zion too. Zion had an
Yeah.
incredible one and done season. You got
thought
you got
told you. I did.
you got RJ. RJ had a pretty incredible season as well. But
Hmm.
yeah, man, one and done is the new wave. But I say, hey, if you can live your goal, if you can live your dream, man, go ahead and do it, man. Never know, you can get injured tomorrow, and your dream go down the drain because you didn't feel you were ready or you didn't feel confident enough. I say go ahead and take a shot. There's a whole lot of kids that I felt weren't ready, and they proved me wrong. So with that said, hey, who am I?
So you know, kind of starting to wrap things up, man. I definitely wanted to real quick focus on your business of all
Right.
things. So you kind of already gave us a quick backstory on that, but as of now, where does this company stand and what's coming up too as well that you would like to talk about?
Okay. Well, right now, we're kind of knee deep into the pandemic era, probably waist deep, hopefully. But For the last maybe since the pandemic started, I've been using social media, predominantly Instagram to kind of interview. I have two series right now that are kind of going simultaneously, and
Mhm.
the first being Legends Talk. And what Legends Talk is pretty much a conversation with somebody that I deem as a legend. And a crazy old school guy to be a legend, or you don't have to be somebody that scored a million points or whatever. But if you created an impact through basketball, for your community, for your family, I view that as legendary. So I interview legends. I've had the opportunity so far to interview guys like Kareem Reed, guys like Jared Lockhart, who are New York City kind of legends, if you will. Future Malloy, another. This guy's a street ball legend. Just a ton of guys who I grew up watching. Also had the opportunity to sit down and chop it up with Kenny Anderson, which was big for me.
Oh,
Nice.
no,
Um,
no.
yeah, Kenny's a great dude, man, and just having the opportunity to pick up my phone and call him if I have me. You know what I'm saying? But guys like Rod Strickland also. These are all guys that have taken a liking to what I've been doing, and have kind of invested themselves into what I have going on. So I say that to say that with all things hoops, what I'm trying to do is establish or create a community, a sense of community around basketball journalism. And I'm always on a hunt for 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 writers, for photographers, or videographers who want to join the team, because it's not every day that it, I've tried to I've applied for ESPN jobs and things of that nature, and I haven't got calls back. So I can imagine on the countless amount of people who were in my shoes, who applied for a writing job with ESPN and got turned down, or just giving the opportunity to younger people to have their works published.
Hmm.
um, just giving the opportunity for that young, hungry photographer who's coming up and wants their stuff published under a bigger platform than their own. Just kind of providing those opportunities for people. We're always looking for writers. We're always looking for videographers and photographers, and just looking to grow, man. And right now, until we actually get the team to a sizable amount,
Hmm.
I'm gonna continue to kind of push out content. I got a ton of pictures. I probably have pictures enough to do a post every day for the next maybe 4 years, from all the events that I've been able to go to.
Hmm.
So, content is never, an issue. It's just trying to create that team and build that camaraderie. Something like what Slam Magazine has been able to accomplish over there, 30, 40, 50 years, however, how many years they've been in the game. So yeah, we're trying to get to that level. One game at a time, one photo at a time, and fairly confident that we'll get there. But again, just happen to be consistent and put the work in, and that work eventually will show.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So I actually have one little last question I usually save for the end. Uh, put people on the spot real quick. And since we talked a lot of college hoops, I was thinking um, I'm gonna give you three coaches, and you can one could be your head coach, one could be the assistant coach, and one gotta go, right? So you have Coach K, you have Roy Williams, and you have Calipari.
Mm.
Who's the head coach? Who's the assistant? And who gotta go?
Oh, Coach K is
Especially in today's
the head.
climate, you know, be able to recruit and whatnot.
Coach
Because
K,
Calipari can recruit,
Coach K is on. He's the head coach, man, all
of
day.
course, for sure.
Um, assistant, I gotta go. Calipari's my assistant,
Okay,
and Roy, although he's great, he gotta go.
feel
I
you
was
on that. I feel you on that.
my choice as well, to be honest. I think that's my
Yeah,
choice.
because for the way the game is today, Calipari is a huge part of why college basketball is the way it is. Because the way he recruits is different.
Right. I've been watching Calipari since since Marcus Camby and
And
Travier fell on
UMass,
UMass,
yeah.
and that's where he kind of got his start. So I've been watching him, and you know what, Coach K, I actually had the opportunity to meet Coach K, and something on my bucket list was, as this media person, was to
Mhm.
ask Coach K a question, and I got that opportunity
Nice.
to ask him a question at a press conference, and he gave me a fairly long answer, and from the,
If you don't mind, what was the question?
Do you remember what the question was? Yeah.
yeah, it was they actually lost the game. They lost at the Garden versus St. John's that year.
Yep, I remember that game.
And Shamari
I remember
Pons
that game.
went crazy that game.
Wow, he's tough too.
Yeah.
Shamari Pons is tough.
And so I told him, I asked him, I said, tough loss, coach, but what positives, if any, can you get out of today's loss, right? And he gave me a long answer. He just said, "Yo, we're gonna get better. We use this as a learning experience, something to that effect,
Mm.
and we're going to get better. We something to that effect. But I taped it, so I got my cell phone like this, literally talking to Coach K, and I got the chance to ask him my questions. So I'm gonna take that with me forever.
Yeah, I know we was about to wrap it up, Tim, but he just said something it made me think of something that I actually meant to ask earlier. You mentioned Samari Pons, so he was at St. John's. But over the water a little bit. I went to Seton Hall myself. I was
Yeah.
there. My first year there was when Isaiah Whitehead was a freshman.
Okay. Shout
So
out to
so
Zay
that was
White.
that was the kind of like
Oh,
that's the beginning of Seton Hall kind of getting their groove back a little bit, because
Whitehead was
that recruiting
Whitehead.
class with Delgado and all of them was solid, and Desi
Whitehead was
Rodriguez
a
and Kadeem
problem.
Carrington. Yeah. So, but of all of them though, Miles Powell. What do you think about Miles Powell?
Yo, Miles Powell is a beast, bro.
Yo, he's different.
I've seen him live, light it up, bro.
Yo,
Like literally every shot that he throws up. I've seen him and Shamari Pons actually go at it, and
go. Mhm.
I was actually able to capture some very good pictures. Some of my best
Yeah.
pictures captured that game, just of those two guys, and they went crazy, man. They actually reminded me of a Allen Iverson and Vince Carter going at it in the playoffs back in the day, when both of them like dropped 50 points each. I mean, they didn't drop 50 points each, maybe like 30 apiece or something like that. But
Yeah, I remember the game.
but
Yeah,
yeah, Miles Powell is a complete beast, man, and
he's an NBA player. He's an NBA player, in my opinion.
absolutely, without a doubt. And I don't even know why players are, I mean, teams have him low on like draft boards or whatever the case may be. I
He's
don't
going
even,
to end up being a steal in the draft. Is what he's going to end
yeah.
up being. I think.
There was another steal, and I know you guys are trying to wrap up, but there was another steal that I called out a long time ago. Nas Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Nas Reed was a guy out of Roselle Catholic out of in New Jersey.
Yep.
And I'm pretty cool with him after seeing, watching him at different camps and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and just like kind of, once you go to these camps and these games, and you're interviewing the same players, and they see you at the same, same venues, you kind of build a rapport. So
Yeah.
Facts.
after one particular game, I was sitting with Tom Konchowski, who's one of the like most well renowned scouts, high school basketball scouts in the country, and he actually happened to retire this year. But Tom, he was telling me that Nas Reed is going to be a steal in the draft. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody who I spoke to, they were saying, "Yo, his motor, he was lazy, he was this and that." But the kid was 6'11".
Basketball.
He can do it. He can do it all. He can shoot.
Stretch the floor.
He can stretch the
Facts.
floor. He can shoot.
Got a
He
post
can rebound.
game.
He can post. He can do everything.
Mhm.
And so
Facts.
watching his name go further down and down on the draft charts and the mock drafts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I don't even think he got. I don't even think he had gotten drafted, if I'm not mistaken, or some craziness like that. And I'm like, wow, I really can't believe what's going on here. And
Yeah.
Minnesota picked him up,
Mm-hmm. And he
and
actually had a decent little
he had a
year
he had
this
a
year.
decent career. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
decent year.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Pascal, also another guy
Pascal,
under the
Villanova.
radar, Villanova guy.
Mm-hmm.
Seen him countless times at Villanova. Even covered Villanova games at Villanova, and he's like, wow, like I'm seeing you everywhere. And actually, I'm actually gonna have him on the live show as well,
That's dope.
sometime soon. But he had a great career, and his draft stock went. He didn't have the best draft stock either. So I don't even listen to
And
those
now he
people
finds
anymore.
himself in a great situation in
Absolutely.
Golden State.
Now everybody's healthy, everybody's back. They're gonna get a top draft pick. They might pick James Wiseman.
I think that's the guy for them. That's the fit. That's the
That's the
guy.
fit. That's the fit.
That's the fit.
So with that said, they got him. Everybody else that came back that got hurt, like Stephen Clay, Draymond is still there, James Wiseman, and Eric Pascal. That's gonna be crazy.
Tough.
Facts.
That's gonna be tough.
Right.
Stuff. Hey, Cal. So, before we wrap up, Cal, just where can people find you on social media and stuff?
Yeah. So on Instagram, you can definitely find me at all things underscore hoops. That's all things underscore hoops. You can't misspell that. All things hoops on at all things hoops on Twitter. And allthingshoops.com is the website. And I have a ton of basketball content on there for the basketball junkie. I have something for everybody, from the young kids to the more seasoned basketball fans. And yeah, I think that even women's basketball, but I think that everybody that goes on the site will definitely find something that they enjoy reading. And we look forward to cranking out some more good content in the near future.
Cool. All right. Cal, I just want to first say thank you for coming on our show. Definitely appreciated it. Your knowledge. I mean, you dropped a lot of gems, a lot of great
Yeah.
stories.
Great stuff.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell my story here, and just to chop it up with you guys, man. Jared, what I'm saying, Dean, Tim, I appreciate you guys, man, for real.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm usually the guy asking all the questions, man. So now this is a little different.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So thank you everybody for joining us, man. This is another episode of Sports and Culture, and we'll talk to y'all later, man.